Alright everyone, welcome to the Session 2 of the D&D 4e Summer of Fun campaign DM'd by Rahal, who based our setting on elements cannibalized from other source material. We were without Gryphongod for this mission. He doesn't get back home until tomorrow, so yeah, there you go. We definitely missed his presence. However, we still managed to have fun without him. Now, some unfortunate news. Due to technological silly business, it's not important what happened, only that I don't understand how it happened, yet managed to correct the problem anyway. I got the entire session recorded, but I only have everyone else's audio from the second half of the session. There's about 3 hours of footage which just contains my audio. Things happen. I think DarkDestinySoul might have been recording this one like he was the last one, so he may have something to upload which will rectify the situation. I don't know. What I do know though is that I will conduct a recap right now, featuring footage from the first half. I will even, do some video playback, since if I take the time to make this like a proper video and then process it all to get it like the audio and video, it's going to take forever for me to upload. And I just want to get this done right now on Monday, while the session's still fresh in my head. So let's see how well I condensed 3 hours of a session that just happened. You'll recall that last session ended in the town square, a Sandpoint, right before the start of another battle, and this is not going to be the most prettiest, since this resolution is smaller than the resolution I'm recording in. I have like a little notepad to make sure I keep track of things, whatever. Not important. We ended in the town square right before the start of another battle. Let me go ahead and scroll ahead a bit here. Oh, that was too far. Now, a nobleman ran onto the scene, Alden Foxglove. And he was cowering in fear, completely paralyzed the entire time of the battle, and he was hiding behind his dog, which just so happened to be named Fluffy. I'm not kidding. That was what Alden Foxglove named the damn dog, and he was being pursued by more goblins, including a frightening goblin hound. Now, the Spiral Vanguard and Arenoss managed to surprise this latest batch of enemies. You can see some icy terrain there that I had thrown down. And, delivered a withering assault upon our foes. Now, let's go ahead and scroll back here a bit. Nah, what the hell. Arenoss the Sorcerer here. I'm pretty early into the battle. That's me, thunder waving. That was a pretty beautiful thunder wave there, if I do say so myself. Ah, yes, here we go. Arenoss the Human Sorcerer took a near-lethal crossbow bolt to the chest from this guy, a goblin sharpshooter. And Erevan, the Eladrin Warlord, let me see if I can cover the situation here. Oh yeah, you see the dog died, everyone moved into a beautiful position, and that's when I laid down a thunder wave. I sent him flying. He was being mobbed by two characters, I could have done a cloud of daggers. I could have, of course, I already used my daily for that moment. I didn't have sleep. And of course, I only get one daily, so I didn't have Flaming Sphere open to me at all. So it was either Thunder Wave or Cloud of Daggers. And there was no way I could avoid not hitting him. He still had multiple healing surges left. I figured, you know what the fuck, let's do it. And we managed to prevail, though, and save the day eventually. You can see there, we're controlling Roldar, or rather, Erevan Nodalis, DarkDestinySoul was controlling him. Finally maneuvered Roldar up there. Let's go ahead and close out of that. Open up the next video file. This is... Nope, don't you do it. Don't you even play random white sound. Because that's what you're going to hear when I'm not talking in this. Shrink it down. I said shrink it down. Shrink it down. Serious business here. Again, I'm trying to do this recap. I'm in a hurry. Get it done. So, we managed to save the nobleman. It took some doing, and some damage was dealt there. You could see, the situation there, how little health that, Arenoss has. Well, you can actually see it on the map right there. Courtesy of the initiative list with the health bars. There I am checking the damn book, and those two are bloodied. Erevan takes some more damage, but eventually, we managed to save the day. Woo! Once we dispatched the threat, Saloro Soreasu, the human wizard, my character, broadcast another loud message stating that the Spiral Vanguard had cleared the town square from malevolent evil, 21 goblin corpses to be specific. Alden Foxglove was like, oh my god, you saved me, your heroes, and then they ran off. Arenoss dashed off to check out the Rusty Dragon, apparently concerned with the safety of its proprietor. Now, shortly afterwards, we have here Sheriff Hemlock and 3 town guards who, rushed in. They're all injured. They're all bloodied. Apparently, battles had been taking place all over the city, but they were now just dying down, and this group had rushed over as fast as it could. Okay, we did a great job, we're heroes, yeah, but the sheriff did want to see if we could conduct a patrol over the northern and the western sections of Sandpoint to make sure that everything was truly okay. And so the Spiral Vanguard agreed to do that. Rather, Erevan agreed for us, because we're fucking heroes. Is that awesome? There was my statement here. Citizens of Sandpoint, remain calm and remain in your homes. Sheriff Hemlock, the Fair Town Guard, and the Spiral Vanguard are sweeping through the city as we speak. Any current sightings of goblins should be reported immediately. Any goblins, Saloro would like to have a word with you about the fallacies of Bane. Exciting. As it turns out, all the goblins who were either attacking the city... Excuse me, let me go back here. Were either dead or had fled. So the patrol found nothing. However, during the patrol, Saloro recalled rumors of smugglers' tunnels beneath the city. Tunnels which could perhaps have conveyed a large number of goblins to their proper attack positions against the lovely people of Sandpoint. Perhaps if someone familiar with the town had pointed out those tunnels. Yeah. Saloro broke off to bring up this lovely idea with the sheriff, while Alvyn the gnome rogue went off to do creepy gnome things, and Erevan and Roldar the Goliath fighter went off to the Rusty Dragon to recuperate themselves. Speaking of the Rusty Dragon, you remember Arenoss? Yeah, well, he nearly died to a crossbow bolt after running into the tavern with a full head of steam. Turns out the proprietor trained with weapons, but she just barely missed him. So they had a moment together where he hugged her. It smeared blood all over her clothes while he told her everything was all right. That he scampered off to the sheriff himself. You can see it's time for some makeup sex. And she stiffened after she was hugged by the, blood-soaked sorcerer. So yeah, Arenoss then goes off to visit the sheriff himself. How about that? So there's Sheriff Hemlock. Let me go ahead and pull this up for you. Nope, don't you do it. Don't you play sound. I said no. Bad. Properly resize this for you folks so you all can enjoy this quality entertainment recap. Because I'm a professional, everyone. And there I am playing around with some macros and shit while people are talking. Let me see if I can get a good still here. I said, let me see if I can get a good still. I'm playing around with my weapons because Jonas never really configured them for my token because, I'm a wizard. So I'm always taking the time to do that myself. So there's Sheriff Hemlock, Saloro, and Arenoss. Saloro brings up the whole, hey, smugglers' tunnels, what about them idea. The sheriff goes, yeah, smugglers' tunnels. We should probably check that shit out. I thought they had all been closed down, but the goblins had to get into the city somehow, so there you go. I'll send my men to look out for them. Saloro thinks this is a good idea, but he's got an even better one. Saloro and Alvyn, who likely has the best eyes of the party, will go back to the locale where the dog died. You remember the alley where we found the slit throat. And check to see if, there's an entryway there, or perhaps even where the dog corpse had been tossed off the cliff. We're looking for access points, entry points that would take us to, smugglers' tunnels, which could give us an idea of how the goblins got here to the city. Unfortunately, we didn't find anything of merit. Alvyn ended up ending up at the city garrison himself after wandering around doing gnome things. We talked about it, then we went to go invest the alley. Didn't find fucking jack shit of interest. We went to the cliffside, looked over, stared at the refuse pile. Still didn't find anything of merit. I played around with ghost sound a bit to try to lure, maybe a goblin out. Didn't end up happening. Here, Arenoss suggested, hey, what about the old light? It's a large ruin in the northwestern section of Sandpoint. No one goes there. They might have some tunnels or passageways, but I tell you what, before we go there, how about we talk to the sage guy I know who lives in town, see whether the idea holds any merit. So, Arenoss, along with Alvyn, follow him to, they go to see the sage, while Saloro fetches Erevan and Roldar, telling them to meet up at the old light. And I think that concludes this. Yes, there's the Sagely bookstore, the sign that I ended up placing down. How about that, everyone? Next little film. No, there's sound. Don't do it. Bunch of white noise. Okay, so there I am, Saloro. I've gone off to the Rusty Dragon, as I've said, to fetch my companions and say, hey, let's go meet up at the old light. So, yeah. Discussing where there's the sage. There he is. Brodert Kink Quink. Sage, not very useful. He did say that he thought the old light used to be a mighty weapon, but you know how old people are with their crazy shit in their books, right? He did also suggest the mayor might be a good person to ask concerning the smuggler's passageways, and that he didn't think there would be any access tunnels in the massive ruin, due to the fact that, it used to be a giant fucking awesome, super cool, powerful weapon that shot laser beams rather than, anything of actual merit or worth or significance. Meanwhile, Erevan and Roldar, I'm editing the token there. I go fetch them. They had some chatting and discussion there and roleplay in the tavern, even though Gryphongod's not here, so it's basically just DarkDestinySoul, and then I go in, I tell them what's happening, and I fetch them and take them to the old light. Hooray! So there we all are at the old light. 5 of us together again, staring up at this tall wall. It's a very tall wall to actually get inside the ruin. It takes some serious climbing skills to scale, even with the assistance of a rope. Arenoss thought it wouldn't be useful. He was more interested in speaking to the mayor. He trusted the old man. Saloro, my character, countered that, 5 people weren't needed to check a ruin or go to speak to the mayor, and since Arenoss wasn't an official part of the group, why didn't he go do it himself? So the sorcerer went away, good riddance, and we other 4 managed to get ourselves into the old light. Our leader, Erevan, had 50 feet of silk rope. He climbed up himself, and we others followed suit and got in. Saloro provided a light source, full of refuse and debris, exposed heavily to the elements. We nevertheless managed to find a large crate stowed away with a gang emblem on the side. There's us making our athletics checks to climb. I made it up even with an 8. It's fucking amazing, I know. Actually, going to the next video file. By the gods. No! Say, oh, there I was speaking there. Oh my goodness, everyone. Like I said, it captured my audio. Not so much everyone else's. That was us making streetwise checks. The only person who succeeded on that was, Alvyn, who discerned that there was a symbol on this crate here. It was a large crate stowed away with a gang emblem on the side, and the symbol was for the Scarny gang, which apparently engaged in highway robbery, smuggling, thieving, burglary, those sorts of crazy shenanigans around in this section of Varesia, which is basically our continent. How about that? Prying open the crate, which we did with the help of Roldar, brandishing a crowbar that I'm pretty sure Erevan had on him. Oh, sorry. Need to focus more on this. Prying open the crate revealed perhaps thousands of gold pieces worth of historically and religiously significant items. Especially an urn, as Saloro was using his history, and, Erevan was using his religion to scour through these items, to try to discern and decipher through them all, go like, hey, interesting, could be worth merit, quite a healthy sum, particularly given the gemstones that were in there as well as some old candlesticks, which we later found out came from the old cathedral before it burned down, apparently. Most interesting. So after we did that, we talked about what we could do with it. We could probably remove it out of here ourselves, but we might want the sheriff to see this first. Not that it pertains to the goblins, but that it's interesting enough we might as well point it out anyway. So Erevan, being the most diplomatically inclined, as well as, a fast individual, we decided that the leader should go get the sheriff, while we would stay here and watch over the crate to ensure that no one else came to collect it. Arenoss went to talk to the mayor. I zoomed in on this one. I went to get a drink at the time. Decided to have the zoom in focus of their portraits. Quite frightening. Mayor wasn't a whole lot of help in this situation. She did advise that Arenoss could perhaps find an individual to interrogate and communicate with who would know more about the smugglers' tunnels. Yeah, the feed bag. That seedy place down there we could talk to. But as it turns out, the sheriff had actually ended up retrieving him, or at least another member of the crime family, to discuss the situation with. So it seemed to be an irrelevant point. Speaking of the sheriff, Arenoss ended up hop-skipping over to the city garrison to talk with him about affairs. And he encountered Erevan about the same time. There's a whole info dump thing. The sheriff agreed to come along to the old light. Arenoss didn't want to climb up and go inside, but the sheriff, despite his heavy wounds, did. He found this amazing crate. You can see here SMW says that rope has been the most dangerous encounter for Alvyn so far, because it was. He actually failed to climb it the first time, whereas, Saloro even succeeded. It was quite entertaining and amusing. I think he rolled like a 3 on his athletics check or something. Or whatever, I don't remember. It's not important. What's important is that the sheriff got to see the crate. He got to see all the goodies. We had some role-playing discussion about the situation. How about that? Fun for everyone. And ultimately, he decided that we should haul the crate out of there. So, Roldar, Erevan, and Saloro with Mage Hand combined lifted the crate and safely secured it on outside, and then we hauled it over to the city garrison, with the thanks of the sheriff. Phew! What a busy day, right? Now, the sun's fully set, it's nighttime, and everyone returns to the Rusty Dragon. Saloro goes off on Heinrich for a night ride. There's us. There's me getting on Heinrich. And there's me galloping off there. But I end up focusing on them for a while. The others eat and discuss the day's events. Arenoss asks for more information about the Spiral Vanguard. Asks about my character Saloro, because he doesn't seem to like him. Or sorcerers or what have you. They just have ourselves a good time while I'm playing around with my tokens and shrinking them so that they look more reasonable and feasible on the map. Saloro's sitting there and relaxing. They're getting music played for them by a Meiji Kujitsu or what have you. And I'm hearing music and song and happiness coming from the Hagfish Tavern. The Sandpoint Glassworks is continuing to churn out its bullshit and what have you. But yeah, just a relaxing moment for Saloro, away from everyone else. I have a loner character. I'm perfectly cool with that. I end up focusing on the portraits. This point, Jonas ended up linking a song for us to listen to while they were all talking in the tavern. There we go. I like to be eccentric, apparently. I'm glad I could stop right on that moment. I ended up communicating with the viewers through the notepad. Those communications will be forever lost. I know. It's sad, but, it happens. That wasn't important. You can pause if you really want to read that. Anyway, I went back to the tavern. Woohoo! And, that was eventually what I was going to do because I have to sleep there anyway. But as it turns out, you can see the link there, that what he linked. The sheriff and Father Z, I forgot his full name, ended up arriving at the tavern himself. And, they make another appearance, trying to enlist the party's aid again. Turns out there's been a break-in at the crypt containing a prominent priest. I've forgotten his name as well. But he was the priest before the old cathedral burned down. Now, both the sheriff and the father insisted the party investigate the matter immediately because of, goblins and other crazy shit. But come the fuck on, people. You think this is our first bicycle? Seriously, we were in, I had expended my daily. I only had like one healing surge left myself. I was at 18 out of 20 hit points. And the party was to varying degrees in poor shape. So ultimately, we refuted the idea of investigating immediately. The guards would just have to handle it, get fucked. We're not a charity case. And we proceeded to get an extended rest. Anyway, that's where the story picks up now. All in all, a bit rushed of a recap, but I think that was competent for the first half of the session. Sure, you missed the jokes and the banter, but you also missed the quiet time and the uneventful activity. I just broke down 3 hours of gameplay into 20 minutes. If I were a better man, I wouldn't even be here right now. So there you go. Mistakes are made. It's just, for those of you who are familiar with role-playing tabletop experiences, it's fine. So there you go. I'm just glad I managed to capture the second half just fine. So if some of you were turned off by the series and never want to watch again, I get it. Does that upset me? No. I've decided to record this out of convenience, and the fact that I'm even taking additional time out of my life to try to do some sort of semi-coherent recap is a testament to the fact of, I don't know. I guess that I care. I could have just deleted everything and scrapped it, but there you go. Enjoy the rest of the show.